Women often claim they care about what a man does for them, his gestures, his sacrifices, his effort, his time. And men, conditioned by culture, by movies, and by family advice, fall into this belief that the road to a woman's loyalty is paved with service, giving, and proving worth. But the harsh truth is this: women don't stay loyal to your efforts. They stay loyal to something far deeper, something that most men overlook. The philosopher Agnes Callard, known for her sharp and unflinching view of human desires, tells us that loyalty is never about surface-level actions. Loyalty is about what she calls aspirational attachment, a deep alignment of values, emotions, and ambitions. A woman may accept your gifts, your time, and your sacrifices, but she is not tied to them. She is tied only to what fulfills her deeper psychological and emotional needs. And here's where men get it wrong. They think loyalty is bought through effort, but in reality, loyalty is sustained only through the invisible thread of psychology, through desire, respect, admiration, and the emotional mirror you hold before her. That is why so many men give endlessly, yet watch women walk away without hesitation. Because women are not loyal to the things you do. They are loyal only to the thing that feeds their inner need. A man spends weeks planning a date. He buys flowers, chooses the perfect restaurant, pays attention to every detail. And yes, she may smile, she may say thank you, she may enjoy the evening. But what happens the next day? What happens when she meets another man who barely lifts a finger? Yet somehow she can't stop thinking about him. This is the paradox men refuse to face. Effort doesn't guarantee emotional impact. Agnes Callard points out that desire is not a rational process. It is not earned like a paycheck. It doesn't work like a transaction where action equals reward. Instead, desire is aspirational. It's about what a person becomes in relation to another. A woman is drawn not to the checklist of things you do, but to the emotional state she enters when she's with you. Think about it. If women truly cared most about effort, the hardest working, most self-sacrificing men would never be left. Yet, reality tells a different story. The man who bends over backward is often ignored, while the man who barely tries, yet embodies confidence, purpose, and emotional strength, captures her loyalty without even asking for it. Why? Because what you do is external. It can be copied, replaced, or forgotten. Another man can also buy her flowers, also text her good morning, also open the car door. Actions are interchangeable. But what can't be replaced is the way she feels when she's with you. A woman's loyalty is not tied to your calendar, your wallet, or your sacrifices. It's tied to the invisible sense of value and meaning she experiences in your presence. This is why a man who constantly proves himself often ends up exhausted, while the woman remains emotionally detached. He's trying to buy loyalty with currency that doesn't matter. Agnes Callard explains that human attachment is aspirational. We attach ourselves to people who elevate our sense of who we are and who we could become. Women are no different. She doesn't stay because you did 10 things right. She stays because being with you makes her feel aligned with her deeper desires, whether that's security, adventure, admiration, or even chaos. And here's the brutal truth. If your actions don't feed her deeper need, they mean nothing. That's why some men are replaced easily, while others remain unforgettable no matter how little they do. If women are not loyal to what you do, then what exactly are they loyal to? Agnes Callard's philosophy gives us a clue. She argues that our deepest attachments are not about possessions or even people themselves. They are about the aspirations that those people awaken within us. A woman is loyal not to your actions, but to the vision of herself that she sees reflected in you. Let's make this simple. When she looks at you, does she feel more beautiful, more alive, more desired, more safe, more challenged, more respected? Whatever it is, her loyalty is bound to that feeling, not the action that triggered it. This is why women can leave a man who did everything right and chase after the man who barely tried, because the second man connects directly to her inner psychology. He doesn't give her loyalty through gifts. He gives her loyalty through identity. With him, she feels like the woman she wants to be. And here's where most men misunderstand. They think loyalty is about giving more, but in truth, loyalty is about giving differently. It's about speaking to her core identity. For example, a woman who secretly desires stability will be loyal to the man who makes her feel safe, even if he doesn't shower her with gifts. A woman who craves excitement will be loyal to the man who brings unpredictability, even if he never plans elaborate dates. A woman who needs admiration will be loyal to the man who mirrors her sense of worth, even if he rarely compliments her directly. Callard's philosophy forces us to see that loyalty is aspirational. It's about who she becomes when she is with you. Actions alone can't hold her, but identity can. And here's the harsh reality men must accept. If she doesn't see her desired self reflected in you, no amount of effort will keep her. You could climb mountains, cross oceans, or give her the world, and she will still leave for someone who makes her feel more aligned with her inner self. So when you ask, what are women loyal to? The answer is not you, not your actions, not your sacrifices. They are loyal to their own psychological experience, the way you make them feel about themselves, and that is the secret. Once you understand this, you stop over-investing in meaningless gestures and start focusing on the deeper level, the emotional identity you awakened in her. Most men fall into what can be called the transactional trap. They believe that if they invest enough effort, attention, and resources, a woman will feel obligated to reciprocate with loyalty. It's almost as if relationships were business, contracts. I did this for you, therefore you must stay with me. But Agnes Callard challenges this very notion of transactional desire. She explains that desire is not a trade, it is an aspiration. It reaches beyond what can be measured or counted. A woman doesn't fall in love with a tally sheet of your actions. She falls in love with what she aspires to become when she's around you. This is why transactional men often feel used, betrayed, or resentful. They poured in gifts, favors, and devotion, yet she left them for someone who gave far less. But here's the uncomfortable truth. She never agreed to the contract. In her psychology, there was never a deal. To her, loyalty isn't about fairness, it's about fulfillment. She doesn't ask, who gave me more? She asks, who makes me feel more alive, more wanted, more myself? And here lies the tragedy. The men who give endlessly often deplete themselves while failing to awaken her deeper desires. Meanwhile, the man who offers less, but speaks directly to her aspirations, captures her loyalty effortlessly. Callard insists that loyalty cannot be bought because it is not a currency. It is not built on transactions, it is built on meaning, and meaning is always psychological. So if you want to escape the transactional trap, stop counting your sacrifices and start asking, what does this woman aspire to feel, to become, to experience when she's with me? Because until you answer, that no action will ever be enough. There's another common mistake men make, equating effort with value. You'll hear men say, but I did everything for her. I gave her my best years. I sacrificed my time. I worked so hard to keep her happy. And yet she leaves, and he's left bitter, confused, broken. Here's what men miss. Effort does not equal attraction. Effort does not equal loyalty. Effort does not equal value. Agnes Callard's philosophy on aspiration is clear. People don't stay attached to what they simply have. They stay attached to what points them toward a life they desire. Effort is admirable, yes. But effort without alignment is meaningless. Imagine this. A man writes a woman long love letters every week. Another man simply looks at her in silence and her heart races. The first man's effort is undeniable, but the second man's presence speaks directly to her psychology. Which one will she remain loyal to? Always the second. Why? Because loyalty is not earned by the weight of labor, but by the depth of resonance. The illusion that effort equals value comes from a cultural lie. Movies, traditions, and even family advice teach men, show her you care, work for her, sacrifice for her, then she will love you forever. But reality tells us otherwise. If effort truly equaled value, then men who gave the most would be the most desired. Yet often the opposite is true. The man who gives the least but exudes strength, self-respect, and direction becomes irresistible. This doesn't mean you should be lazy or careless. It means that effort, by itself, cannot create value in her eyes. Value is not in what you do, but in what you are. Callard forces us to see that loyalty is not tied to the amount of effort invested, but to the aspiration she feels when she is with you. If you align with her inner desires, you hardly need to prove yourself. If you don't, no amount of proving will save you. Now let's cut to the core. What exactly is the one thing women are loyal to? Agnes Callard would say, they are loyal to aspiration itself, to the vision of a self they are reaching toward. A woman will not remain with a man because he's nice or because he did everything right. She will remain because she sees herself reflected in him in a way that elevates her. Think carefully about this. Women are loyal not to your actions, not to your sacrifices, not even to your promises. They are loyal to the identity you awaken in them. If she feels alive, admired, desired, and valued with you, her loyalty will be unshakable. If she feels dull, neglected, or uninspired, no effort will bind her. This explains why women often appear irrational in their choices. They leave stable men for reckless ones, wealthy men for broke ones, caring men for cold ones. From the outside, it makes no sense. But from the inside, it's perfectly logical. Because she is chasing the man who reflects the identity she most aspires to live. Callard reminds us that love is always aspirational. It points to a future, to an ideal, to a self, yet to be realized. Women are loyal only to the man who aligns with that future self. So the next time you wonder why she walked away despite your best efforts, stop counting your deeds. Ask yourself, what version of herself did she see when she was with me? Did I awaken her inner aspirations, or did I only perform actions she could forget tomorrow? This is the core of female loyalty. They are loyal not to you, but to the part of themselves you awaken. Every man who has loved deeply knows this pain. Giving everything you can, time, effort, love, sacrifice, only to be abandoned by the very woman you tried hardest to keep. It feels unfair, it feels cruel, and it can make you bitter, angry, even hopeless. But Agnes Callard gives us the philosophical clarity to understand why this happens. It is not because women are evil, ungrateful, or heartless. It is because desire itself cannot be commanded by deeds. Desire is aspirational, irrational, and deeply tied to how a person sees their own identity. A woman may appreciate what you've done for her, but appreciation is not loyalty. Gratitude is not desire. She may thank you, smile, even cry when you give, yet still walk away because gratitude is weak compared to the pull of aspiration. Here is the brutal reality. You can give everything and still lose her because you gave in the wrong currency. You gave actions, but what she needed was alignment. You gave sacrifices, but what she wanted was inspiration. You gave proof, but what she longed for was presence. This is why so many men lose themselves in relationships. They exhaust their strength, their resources, and their pride, only to end up with nothing. They think the answer is to give more. But the real answer is to give what truly matters, the experience of a self she cannot find anywhere else. Callard reminds us that loyalty is never about the past. It is always about the future. A woman doesn't stay because of what you did. She stays because of what she feels she will become with you tomorrow. That is why a man who does less but offers vision, identity, and alignment can replace a man who did everything. So the question remains, if women are loyal only to their aspirational self, how does a man command loyalty without endless chasing? The answer is not to do more, it is to be more. Agnes Callard would say that love is about aspiration, and aspiration comes from aligning with someone who pulls you upward. That means if you want loyalty, you must become the kind of man who inspires it, not the man who begs for it. Here's how. Live your own vision. A man with direction automatically inspires. A man who drifts without purpose forces himself into chasing. Hold your standards. A woman is loyal to the man who reflects her best self, not the man who bends at every demand. Create emotional gravity. Stop trying to impress with actions alone. Build presence, confidence, and emotional depth. These cannot be replaced. Detach from outcome. Paradoxically, the less you need her validation, the more she will aspire to stay connected. Why? Because you project self-sufficiency, and that awakens her own desire for alignment. Callard's philosophy tells us that aspiration is about becoming. If you embody strength, direction, and self-respect, a woman will feel she becomes greater with you. That's the secret. You don't win loyalty by chasing. It comes naturally when she sees her best self through you. So let's return to the truth we began with. Women don't care what you do for them. They are loyal to one thing. Only the version of themselves you awaken. Actions fade. Sacrifices are forgotten. Even love letters gather dust. But identity, the way she feels about herself when she is with you, that is unforgettable. That is irreplaceable. Agnes Callard teaches us that human desire is aspirational. It's never about the checklist of deeds. It's about the pull of becoming. Women are not loyal to flowers, dinners, or constant chasing. They are loyal to meaning, vision, and identity. And once you understand this, you stop exhausting yourself in the wrong direction. You stop giving endlessly to prove your worth. Instead, you cultivate yourself into a man of presence, a man of strength, a man of vision. Because in the end, her loyalty was never about what you gave her. It was always about what she became with you. And when you embody this truth, you no longer chase loyalty. You command it.